up Ashley as our team mom. Ashley, we got a gift for you.
Oh, thanks. That's so cute.
Awesome. Next, really, three coaches that were a part of the staff. We got zero of the credit. Elijah, Rick, and Frank. What could you do without you guys?
What, girl?
Assistant coaches, and really they did everything. I just stood out front, took the credit. Let's get Oliver, Coach Oliver.
What's Mason's father's name? Rick.
Coach Mose. Not bad for a 74-year-old man, boy. And finally, Coach Pat. Thank you. Okay, what a crazy season. We started February, March. We took a 3-month break, it felt like. And then we came back and we absolutely kicked butt. What was our record again? I couldn't have been more proud of the way that we handled things throughout the entire thing. We handled adversity. We handled success. Almost every game we started either down or barely up. And the games that we started down, we persevered. We had great attitudes. We watched the other team celebrate all the way up until the last minute, and then we walked off as the champions. I think lessons learned for this season, number one, come from the parents and how you behave to set the standard for the kids. And then for the kids, how you behave in adversity when you're getting heckled by people that aren't acting appropriately. But understand, it shouldn't have started at 10 years old, but throughout your athletic career and throughout life, you're going to have people try to bully you and do different things to drive you down. You focus forward, you line up on what your goal is, and you walk off with a smile on your face. Every game this year, we walked off with a smile on our face, and even better, we walked off with a victory. We won every game, and I'm proud of that. But I'm more proud of the sportsmanship that we showed. We're going to lose. The Orioles are going to lose the game. And it probably, maybe in the first game of next season. But in life, number one, we're here to have fun and learn baseball. That was what the goal is. It's what you do after you lose that game that defines your character. There were teams in this league, there were players in this league, there were parents in this league that didn't represent themselves based on the standard that all of us should hold each other accountable to. So I can't commend each one of you players enough. And parents for that standard as we set. The league director, the league manager all reached out independently to thank the Orioles for the class that we showed. So give yourself a hand to your parents. I know that the other teams weren't practicing twice a week as dedicated they were. I know that their practices weren't as long as ours were. I know that they weren't running. I know that they weren't going through drills. Because what did we have to our practice? They sure were doing push-ups. So that should be Popeye by the end of the next couple of seasons. If you notice, on 3 different occasions, we had people from other teams that wanted to come to our practice to be a part of the success and experience it because of the camaraderie that you kids had. But more importantly, because what they were feeling about the teams that they were on and some of that negativity wasn't something that they wanted to be associated with. So that's all that I have to say. It was amazing. I'm taking a lot away. Thank you. Boys, each coach is going to take a minute to address you. We're going to call you up for some individual awards. Then we're going to celebrate. Unfortunately, Dallas Cowboys are going back to work. I have to be in a coach's meeting at 4. So after this, I want to do 2 things. I want parents, when we get the individuals come up, let's take a quick picture, and then let's take a team picture. And then we're going to be on top of the next notes as far as what we do next season and how we stay connected. More importantly, I said this in the text that I sent. I think we're all family now, regardless of baseball. I hope we stay connected. This is absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Guys, at the beginning of the season, some of you guys weren't with us, but the very first thing on the very first practice we had that I said was, when I expect from you to come out every day and leave better than you showed up. And look where we're sitting. In the season, 10-0, you guys have grown so much. I can't say how proud I am because this works so have a meaning for that. So
74-year-old that not only bear the brunt of the equipment, the stats, and you'll see the stats at the end here that I'm talking about, but just being out there tenaciously in the heat, fighting off COVID and being a part of the team.
That was a lot of fun, guys. We started back.
Felt like we did last year.
Anyways, the winning part, just for you, the winning part is great. We all enjoy that, right? I always tell all my team, winning is great, but it's how you do it. You do it the right way. I'm really proud of you. I enjoy to see you. Thanks, man. Thanks,
Guys, for time's sake, I'm going to open this and show you what each one of you are getting. Some of you have more pictures than others. Colton wasn't in one of the practices or the games where we had most of the pictures, but we're getting a lot of other things in it. So each one when you come up, the coaches are going to give your handshake and hands up at a time, and I want to show you some of the stats, all right? Coach Rose, all the Little League wanted was just runs, but that's not how my father functions. My father functions so that we have full-on stats. Now, bear in mind, much like the umpire, we wouldn't get paid to do this. But this was as close as what he could get. So I just want to give you some ideas and some stats. Every player had a hit in the game. How about that? Not a lot of teams at this age where you can say that. As a matter of fact, there's other teams at this age where most players unfortunately don't get to play not only different positions, but get a chance to continue to develop. And that's where we really pride ourselves in how we handle this. No joke, and no secret that our MVPs, our co-MVPs, were the late additions of the twins, Braden and Rain. They had a function on the team and certainly were important, but it was everybody else lifting. Braden and Rain couldn't pitch every game. They couldn't do a lot of things. They couldn't hit every ball. So, yes, they did an amazing job, but I don't want to take away from the accolades of everybody else. But let me just tell you a handful of these two little boys' stats, and they're going to wrestle each other. I gave them a little bit of heads up so they could fight it out last night. Braden won the hits. We got 15 hits. Rain lost the hits. He got 14 hits. Rain won the stolen base war. He got 37 stolen bases. Braden lost the stolen base war. He got 28. Rain lost the strikeout war. He got 25 strikeouts. He started doing the math on what that means for innings. Brother Trumpton with 30 strikeouts. To give you an idea, Xander had 7 strikeouts, Ray Lawson with 4, Colton, Carson, Evan had 3, Austin had 2. Everybody, with the exception of 4 players, pitched in our games. The only reason the 4 players didn't, because we're developing, and I expect that to happen next season, so give them a hand. Our player with the least amount of hits, with only 1 hit, led with walks. And what that tells me is positional and batting discipline. Your height makes it hard to pitch to you, and the fact that you're not out there swinging for the fences and striking out is huge, but the walks turn to runs, turn to wins. Carson had a hit, he had 10 walks, he had 8 stolen bases, and he had 3 strikeouts. In the same vein, Connor had a hit. He had 9 walks. He had 5 stolen bases. And he begged me every day not to pitch, so I honored that. Austin, 8 hits, 7 walks, 16 stolen bases, 2 strikeouts. Colton, 3 hits, I think it was more, Dash probably sneezed. 5 walks, 7 stolen bases, and 3 strikeouts. Braden Olsen, 3 hits, 7 walks, 11 stolen bases. Could have been 14 if you were listening to your coaches. And 4 strikeouts. Hank came on strong. I would say between Hank, Connor, and Evan, from coach's standpoint, developmentally, watching them progress through the season, they're monsters here. Congratulations. 3 hits, 5 walks, stolen bases. Bear in mind, we only had 10 games. And players, what did Coach Oliver and I tell you the very first time we talked about Major League stats? How many times do Major League players hit out of 10?
3.
3, and those get paid
They're Hall of Fame.
millions. So all of you are Major League stats as of right now. Meet Donnie. Donnie decided to kill us for half the games and take vacation for the other half. His stats: 2 hits, a walk, and 2 stolen bases. If you didn't get a chance to see Donnie's smile throughout the day, you missed it. Absolutely missing.
And the eye black.
It was really the body black by the time that the game was done, because we all had it on us. He came up to us on a handful of times, "Coach, I got this all over me." And all of us were like,
Quit wearing
"Stay
eyeglasses.
away from us, Donnie." Sanders, 4 hits, 4 walks, 3 stolen bases. Additionally in the packet, Carly came out. You're going to have a team picture. You're going to have the team pictures. Unfortunately, that's what Colt went here for. You got individual pictures, and then you've got some really cool candid shots. Those are takeaways. Way to say thank you. So, without further ado, so we put this back together. You're going to get a medal from the league. This is wearable. Mason. No, that's it. Mason, I'm sorry, 1 hit, 7 walks, and we're surprised him with a fire on his feet for 10 stolen bases. So you got this as a keepsake, it's laminated. Hopefully this will be something 15 years from now when you're at the MLB draft, you'll be able to pull this up and say where you started. And I'll take a percentage of that first signing bonus. After these guys get their cut. All right, so you're going to get your packet like this. What I recommend is that you don't open this here, that you give this to your parents so it doesn't turn into a cake mess or whatever else can happen. You look at it and celebrate and get home. The next thing that you're going to get is a case of baseball. I'd like to say somebody valuable from Cowboys or something neat signed it, but you're stuck with my signature. Got your Orioles baseball 10-0. Wow, that's awesome.
There you go.
All right, so parents, if you don't mind taking pictures, we're going to call the kids up one at a time, shake their hands, and we'll take an individual picture, guys. Take a second to look at the cake before we destroy it. Not right now. All right, so, hey, listen up, here we go. We're going to get started. Let's not fight this. Hey, well, not push-ups and crush it. Here we go. So, first young man to come up for us. Like I said, the athletes speak for themselves. From a catching standpoint, Austin took at least 12 balls off some part of his head over the course of the season. Never complained. Was one of the consummate professionals. An all-around great kid. Thank you, Austin. One of my favorite moments from Austin this season, I put him in a horrible position. I put him out there in the heat, the bases loaded where we were close. I didn't give him much time to pitch. I brought him out there. He said to me, "I understand, Coach." He went to first base, and he caused 2 or 3 outs before the game was over. A lot of kids would have quit in that moment, so thank you, Austin. Next, we'll call up Rain. Favorite moments of the season. I'm sure we're going to lose this, Coach. I don't know if you know what you're doing, Coach. Are we even trying to win, Coach? We're definitely losing this game, Coach. And some other things that he said that he whispered to my ear. But I'm sure that you as parents couldn't hear the dialogue when I had Brandon Rain pitching and coaching. I was close enough to be able to hear enough that, as Matt and Tracy probably understand, my interaction with them was different with the other boys because they were calling their own plays, they were calling pitch outs, they were calling for hit the batter, they were doing all these things. But it took about 6 games before the other teams realized that if these guys make the mistake of letting them on, they might as well circle in. I think my dad said if they got a hit or got a walk, he just circled in a run. So my favorite moments were the slides under the tags, the positivity, and just generally picking everybody else up in the dugout, even after after a strikeout. So Rain, thank you, Rain.
Go, Ryan.
Hey, Ray,
Favorite moments?
sign the ball for Coach.
I distinctly remember in the Braves games when Mason first walked up to bat, and I heard them say, "This little guy can't hit. Easy out," I heard him yell. That was Mason's first hit. He was out in the infield, and then he came back as catcher, and I think on multiple occasions, especially in the Red Sox game, the ball went behind him, he sprinted to the bat and sprinted and still beat the guy stealing.
Yeah.
He's running guys.
Don't bend those pictures.
Mason's the youngest on the team, and probably twice or three times the size. So when I tell you the size is nothing about heart, tenacity, and effort. Thank you, Mason. Number 7 and 8, right?
Will you sign the ball for Coach?
Favorite moments. First of all, as far as kids that are tough, you're not going to find a tougher kid than Hank. Hank took maybe more balls than Austin did off the head, the face, the shins, the elbows. But when Hank first came to us, I'd venture to say that he couldn't catch. And by the time the season ended, he was one of our best shortstops, one of our best grounders, arm developed, and you guys saw what he's capable of doing, hitting in practice. Watch out for this kid. This young man is a fierce competitor. He's going to be there for us. Maybe the biggest smile I've ever seen from a young man. Half the time, I'm not sure that he had even understood that he was part of a competitive environment. If he wasn't talking about Fortnite, pets, or his amazing family, brothers and sisters, I had to focus a little bit on baseball. And regardless of what Donnie was focused on, where his smile was, he would methodically walk up there, wave at the parents, get everybody their attention, hit the ball, and then go score. And it happened every single time. Huge smile, one of my favorites, and I absolutely enjoy being part of it with you. Thank you. Come on up, Don. I would say from a developmental standpoint, in terms of learning the game of baseball, we had a young man come out. Most of you probably don't know this. Lisa, where's Lisa? Lisa saw my name when I first reached out to her, and she said, "Are you Cable Johnson that worked for Paul Richards?" His grandfather was my first training officer and my SWAT commander for the balance of about 8 years. Even before I knew that Connor existed, when Lisa and I kind of came up through the academy and stuff, I actually had met her before, and baseball brought us back together, so we had a neat connection to start with. Connor came to us as a soccer player. I think he wanted to be a soccer player the majority of the time, so when you heard him referencing run like you're in soccer, run like the wind, I would say also that he's the one that probably couldn't catch well, couldn't get into these things. It's a credit to Coach Oliver, Coach Pat, who worked a lot with him, made an out, made a hit, a bunch of walks, and became a baseball player before our eyes. Congratulations, Connor. Congratulations, give Connor a hand. All right, this next one I've known since he was probably maybe 4 at this point with the amount of seasons we've been on. One of the smaller in stature, but from a tenacity and energy and enthusiasm standpoint, he was a soft and unspoken, sometimes quiet leader. Carson came to me about 3 games in and said, "Coach, I want to pitch." And I thought, oh my goodness, how am I going to handle this situation? And I didn't know if he'd be ready. I trusted him. I talked to his dad and Carson practiced a bunch. And you guys saw what happened. I think the exact same thing that happened with Mason happened with the Red Sox when Carson walked up there. I think they assumed they were going to be moonballs and bounces. And before they knew what hit him, he'd go down the side. Carson's killing the ball with hits in the practices, and he finally got a couple good hits in the games. He's going to be a monster at second base and anywhere else that he chooses to play. Your energy and love for the game is absolutely something that we all wish that we had part of. So thank you, Carson, for everything you did. So we talked about back in March. I don't know what you're laughing for. I'm coming after you next. Back in March, this young man with his father came up and started talking about baseball and how they were, and he was killing the ball. And I was like, man, we've got an absolute all-star on the team. And then COVID took a break, and we took a break from baseball. And I think when Colton first came back, I would say that Colton was one that had a little bit of rust. Luckily, Coach Oliver and Colton's tenacity brought it back in. And I tell you what, if we had 2 more games or even 1 more game, this kid was going to put them all over the fence. What he was able to do the last 3 games was consistent with what he was doing back in March. And all I would say is if COVID didn't happen, we got a Babe Ruth waiting to happen here. One of the plays of the season, I thought, was a diving stop at a ball when he was playing second base. I think it earned you the game ball. Got up and then threw the kid out at first base, a play that you don't see at this age. I know it made Coach Oliver super proud. And then got up there and knocked the ball around, pitched for us, all-around utility player, played third base, pretty much played everything except for catcher. I think you did a lot of coaching in the dugout, so you had that squared away as well. But Colton, couldn't be more proud to have met you. Favorite moments in the game from this guy, right? So Matt, Tracy, and Breck and I have been friends for a long while, and we got into this habit that I would pick them up before the game, and then we would play a song on the way to the game, and the speed limit would be relative, but we would do it every single time. We played Thunderstruck, we got there, we got our dugout, and I would have to beg these boys not to outthrow their arms within the first 3 minutes. I already spoke to you about the secrets that they were telling each other, the plans that they had in place that were completely counter. I think there was times when Pat and Oliver and I pretty much said, you know, I don't know if what we're going to tell them is going to be detrimental to the way they're playing the game anyway. I've heard other parents and coaches say that their IQ and baseball knowledge and the way they go about the game for their age is off the charts. I think every one of these young men learned from them, aspired to be brought up to the same level of speed, but I can't tell you how proud I am. I sat there the entire time knowing it didn't matter how far down that we got, that we would be able to focus, get our team back online, and the grade would come in and close this game out. And I put a lot of pressure on this young man. I put him in positions where we were only 1 run up, or we were 4 down with bases loaded. Didn't sweat a bit, came in and absolutely killed it. Thank you, Brad Wiley.
Hey, Brady.
You're right, over here.
You gotta
So-
sign coach's ball.
Here, give me that.
Braden Olson. Braden
Put your
Olson was much
last
like
initial
Colton.
on there since
When Braden
there's
Olson
two
came
of them.
out, Braden was one of the original guys that came out back in February, March. Braden was killing the ball. He was throwing, was doing everything absolutely on par. Then he took a 3-month vacation. And when he came back, we needed to dust the rust off and get him back focused. Braden played catcher, he played third base, he played first base, had him in the outfield, and from a
your hand down
utility
over here.
standpoint,
Well,
I think Braden was one of
it hurts
the
my head.
utility players in the dugout. We also had some focused conversation about entire team communications, and I think we all learned a bunch of great lessons during the season, including the hits that you got towards the end. So thank you for powering through. The heat got you on some days, but I'm just proud of the way that you handled that, and moving forward, we have high expectations for you. Understand? Proud of you. The last young man, his stuff is at home. Obviously, I'm a little bit partial to him. Having him start the first game as pitcher was scary. I think my dad tried to talk me out of it. Like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to put him out there the first time to see what happens. He got out there, he got 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings, got hits, was put in positions at second base and others that was maybe above where his skill set was. As a coach, I tried to be as fair as possible. I think all of you would say that as far as a discipline standpoint, this young man probably did thousands of push-ups for every time he played wrong. He sat more than anybody else because as a head coach, I didn't want to be the person that was putting my son into areas. But he handled it as well as he could, having a dad that was on his tail the entire time, including sometimes getting in trouble for things that maybe he wasn't the only one involved in. As his father, as his coach, and just generally watching his development, thank you, Xander.
Good job, Xander.
parents, thank you so much. It's been an amazing ride. I won't be able to head coach next time. Coach Oliver and Coach Pat and all of us are going to be communicating this information about the next season. But I would just tell you this, thank you for entrusting me with the opportunity to have these kids. Like I said in the writing, I think of these guys as 11 more sons, and I look forward to them not being their coach, being part of all of your collective lives. So thank you for the trust and time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Tournament baseball for the fall. When we're over here, I'll have a pen and paper and just the full name for the child, email, phone number, and age as of August 1st. Okay? And if you're not, that's okay. We'll see you in spring. But we're going to have 5 tournaments this fall for the Metroplex 1 travel. So it should be a lot of fun. If you guys want to come on, you're more than welcome.
Boys, 2 things we're going to do before I have to go. Let's get a 1, 2, 3, go Orioles in. Hank, would you lead us in that, please? And then we're going to take one more team picture with our flag up, all right? Hank, let's go. Hey, let's go undefeated, all right? Glad we can do it.
Undefeated on 3. 1, 2, 3, undefeated!
All right, let's get a picture in front of the crushing sign, and then, guys, we'll see you on the next one.
You want the coaches to sign it too?